Hey guys, Luke here, and it's been a little while since I've made a video. Now, basically, I'm a bit sick at the moment, and I've been in the process of moving, so I couldn't record a reaction to Game 3, and it's probably a good thing considering New South Wales lost. Now, this video is just going to be a bit of a review of Game 3 of the State of Origin series in 2018, in which Queensland won. Now, I've only just got back to this house, so I haven't even got to put anything together, so this is the setup for today's video. Now, first off, I just want to say, what an incredible game. I think for the series overall, it's actually been a pretty good, high standard of footy. Now, I think we got to address the elephant in the room, and by elephant, I don't mean me. Now, the elephant I'm talking about is Daly Cherry Evans, and the fact that before the game, I was very critical of his selection. I couldn't understand it, but he came out and he was incredible. I would say he was the man of the match last night. Which, if I'm honest, going into the game, after bagging him out and the media bagging him out, I was kind of expecting him to come out and have a really, really good game. Wasn't expecting him to be man of the match, but was expecting him to have a pretty strong game. I also think Ben Hunt, when he came on at hooker, he made a huge difference to that team as well. McCullough, he's not a bad player, but he's kind of just a so-so player for Origin. He's just there to defend, where Ben Hunt, he offers a lot in Origin at hooker. So it'll be interesting to see how the Queensland team goes next year, whether they'll try and slot Michael Morgan into the halves, or they'll keep him on the bench. They'll start Ben Hunt and have Morgan come off the bench. I don't really know what they're going to do. Now, speaking of the actual game itself, Queensland got off to a flyer. Actually, now that I think about it, Queensland have actually had pretty good starts in all of the games so far. Now, Billy Slater would go very, very close to scoring. In fact, they'd actually give it a try, but then they would review it, and then they would find out that he did actually knock the ball on. But not too much longer later, Damien Cook would make a break, and you're thinking, New South Wales finally going to relieve the pressure, and then Tedesco throws the intercept, and Valentine Holmes, once again, goes the length of the field and scores. And then after that, it was just all Queensland. It felt like New South Wales couldn't even get the ball. In fact, I feel like it was maybe like a 10-15 minute period when New South Wales literally didn't even touch the ball. It was just repeat set after repeat set. Cherry Evans and Munster and all that just putting in little grubbers, getting repeat sets, and it was killing us. Now, this is going to sound really weird considering there was a sin binning, but fortunately for us, James Maloney got sin bin, and that literally turned the game on its head at the time anyways. But James Maloney, he got sin bin for a professional foul. I think Slater was going in. I don't think he would have scored as to why there wasn't a penalty try, but he definitely was impeded, I think. It's a bit iffy because, I mean, Maloney is allowed to jostle for the ball, but they've said it's professional foul. I'm not going to complain about it, especially considering New South Wales benefited from it. Seeing Maloney was horrendous last night. Now, Queensland would end up taking the 2, which at the time I thought was ridiculous, and I think was kind of proven to be ridiculous. They had New South Wales on the ropes, set after set. New South Wales players were buggered, and they take the 2, kind of get out of our own end, and New South Wales capitalised on it, especially with Maloney off the field. We played better with Maloney off the field than when we did with him on it, which is, it kind of says a lot about his game last night. So Queensland were 8-0 up, and then bang bang, New South Wales score 2 quick tries in 2 sets. The tries were scored by Tom Trbojevic, who would get an intercept of his own, so it was a bit of tit for tat. Queensland got one with Holmes, Trbojevic got one, and he's speedy as. And then Tedesco would capitalise off some pretty poor defence from the middles of Queensland, and he would score under the post. So yeah, 12-8 at half time. No, I'm not going to lie, I thought that was game over. I thought after all that possession Queensland had, and they still go into the break down, I thought that was just going to be the end of Queensland. And then when the second half started, New South Wales came out really, really strong, but they couldn't get the try. It was kind of similar to Queensland. We had all the possession, but couldn't score. Then Tarek Sims produced one of the dumbest plays I've ever seen in an Origin game. He gave away a penalty coming out of our own end, just taking on his own teammate Ben Hunt at the Dragons, and just the most stupidest thing. He literally tackled him without the ball, and just gave away a penalty, and Queensland would end up scoring a try pretty much like a minute later. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say Tarek Sims lost us the game, but he definitely played a huge part in changing the momentum. Then not too long later came the final nail in the coffin as Daly Cherry Evans crossed over for a try. I think it was Cameron Munster just stepped straight around David Klemmer. Klemmer wanted Cook to cover him. Cook obviously didn't get there in time, and David Klemmer was left clutching at air, and then they just found Cherry Evans just for, you know, right next to the post really. So Queensland had an 18-12 lead, which would end up being the winning scoreline. Now, there were times in like the last 15-10 minutes where I thought New South Wales might have scored. There was a break down the right edge from Addo Carr, and I think he found Trbojevic, but couldn't end up scoring. And then there was a few times where, you know, we were attacking the line. We finally started to get some penalties, and then James Maloney would just drop it, or he'd throw another intercept to Holmes, or he'd just do something shit. Also add in the fact that we gave away another penalty while having the ball, and this time it was Klemmer who did a trip. It was like the dumbest thing ever. We ended up crossing over and scoring. I think that was only because Klemmer actually tripped him. but just killed it. I think it was like second tackle, just an absolute moronic thing to do. Anyways, New South Wales had plenty of opportunities to even the game. They couldn't do it, whether it was through good defence on Queensland or stupid play by themselves, but Queensland ended up holding on in front of the home crowd, and Billy Slater went out a winner like he probably should. In saying that though, no way he should have been player of the series, but I'll save that video for another time. So like I said earlier, I thought the man of the match was Daly Cherry Evans by quite the distance. In the first 2 games, Queensland really lacked a leader in the halves. Cherry Evans was there to steer the ship around. In game 3, who knows what could have happened if he was there for the first and second game, but hey, we'll never know. Now guys, leave in the comment section below what were your thoughts on the game. Also make sure to like and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and follow me on Twitter and Instagram, it's on the screen right now. Alrighty guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you for the next video. Bye guys.